Hi, Mystery Writers. Welcome to the Mystery Writers Studio. My name is Altair, and today I wanted to talk about giving your readers room to imagine. This is something that beginning writers often miss, and that is the reader interaction in your story relies on imagination. And as a writer, your work is to feed your reader's imagination. You know how readers respond to a film adaptation of a book and say it's not as good as the book? And that's often because the visual medium of film supplies details that the reader imagined when they read the book. And it's tough to overcome because readers like creating their images in their head. Um, Author Jerry Jenkins calls this reader imagination feeling the theater of the mind. And in order to create this theater of the mind, you need to give your reader hints rather than full detailed descriptions. So, however much you see a character in your head, you want to give your reader room to form their image of your character. That's just an example. So, you want to provide hints. And when a reader forms a picture in their mind, you've created an emotional connection. And we really want to do that. We want to create that emotional connection, because that connection makes them care about the character and keeps them turning the pages. So you stimulate your reader's imagination with hints. You spoon feed every detail. And it keeps your reader building an image. So as a new writer, you may be tempted to supply every detail from your character background development. And this is why it's so common to see new writers have a character look in the mirror and they're looking at their hair and their face and how tall they are and what color their hair is and all that sort of thing. And it actually takes away from the reader's imagination. As a matter of fact, I remember this was several years ago. I was reading a mystery by a fairly successful mystery writer, and her main character, the detective, was tall and handsome with dark hair, and that was it. There weren't any other details about him as far as physical description. So you just need to give the reader enough to hang on to and then fill in all the details. It's what you want your reader to do. You want them to fill in all the you want the reader to fill in all the details. So paint with broad brushstrokes. Skip long, detailed descriptions and that character looking in the mirror scene, and give your reader touch points to start seeing your character in their mind. So don't describe how tall or lean a character is, or tell the color of her eyes, or reveal a character's age. You want to hint at them and sort of dribble those points throughout your story, usually by how another character observes them or responds to them. So let me give an example. In my latest book, I just used my own book for this example, The Grain Merchant, our main character's mom enters for the first time, and it's a swirl of blue tunic and a long blonde braid rushed out the door. All right. I don't describe how tall or lean she is, or tell the color of her eyes, or reveal her age. The reader knows she's older because she's the protagonist's mom, and each reader can form a picture of how tall she is or whether she's full-figured or slender. And that's the kind of thing you want to do, is just give hints about a character and let the reader imagine who they are. And just to go back to film for a moment, I know you'll know that sometimes in films, someone is cast as the main character, and people who've read the book go up in arms. That is not who that character is. That just isn't who that character is. And it's because they have formed images in their head of what that character looks like. So reader interaction with your story relies on imagination, and as a writer, your work is to feed your readers' imagination. So provide those hints, and then give those broad brushstrokes instead of long descriptions. Give your reader touch points to start seeing your character in their mind. And so choose up to 3 main physical details and refrain from long lists of details. They just get lost. And use other characters' reactions to help readers form a picture, and reinforce your original details later in the story. If those 3 details that you picked, you can reinforce them later in the story. Your reader isn't going to notice that they are providing their own details, and they won't know they are forming an emotional attachment to your character, but they will, and they will love your character without knowing why, when you provide those details that lets them fill in all the full picture. So your job is really to manipulate the imagined, as it were. Feeding your reader its imagination doesn't just engage them. It allows you to mislead them and surprise them along the way in your story, and readers will pour more of themselves into your story if you let them imagine some wrong details at the beginning. This is especially helpful when you're writing a mystery novel. So you can plant false clues. You can plant false clues about characters or events in the first to mislead your readers. And these clues shape how your readers imagine certain aspects of your story. When the truth is finally revealed, it will surprise readers who had formed wrong images in their mind. For example, you can describe a character as having weathered brown skin. Readers may imagine an older man, and later you reveal the character is a 16-year-old girl, upsetting their imagined image. This can create an aha moment and increase your reader's engagement. So don't be afraid to surprise them with a detail which seems misleading at the beginning and gives them that surprise moment when they discover that weathered brown skin belongs to a young person. But never mislead for the sake of being tricky. Readers do not like being tricked. You can use misdirection to enhance important discoveries in your plot, and you view misdirection as a setup for a satisfying reveal later in your story, and this makes imagined information another tool to engage readers in discovering your story. All right. So just limit that misdirection. Too much misdirection can frustrate readers who feel misled or manipulated. As I said, readers do not like being tricked. So limit the major instances of misdirection to key plot points or to character reveals, and avoid confusing readers by subverting their imagination too often. If you're giving them the opportunity to use their imagination, you want to let them use it, right? Overall, giving readers room to imagine allows you to engage and surprise them on pivotal moments. So let readers imagine wrong first, and then upend those imagined details for a satisfying reveal. And this is part of the trick of keeping that villain hidden until that very last climactic reveal scene. So you want to use this tool sparingly to enhance discovery in your story. If you use it too often, then one, readers may not finish your story, but two, the big reveal at the end is not going to feel so big because you keep doing the same thing over and over again. So you don't want to do that too. Moderation. You want to moderate those misdirections. At the same time, you can give your reader an imagination push, as it were, and introduce each character with clues. So use several broad stroke hints to let the reader fill in the gaps. As I said, choose up to 3 main physical details for your character. Refrain from those long lists. Use other characters' reactions to help readers form a picture, and reinforce your original details later in the story. And your reader won't notice they are providing their own details. They really don't notice because they're involved in your story and they care about your characters. And they won't know they're forming an emotional attachment to your character, but they will, and they'll love your character. So the reader's imagination is a gift for writers to harness. By providing enough detail to get started, but space for readers to fill in the gaps, you allow for both engagement and surprising twists in your story. Use this technique wisely to delight your readers and bring them fully into the experience of your story. All right, I hope that helps, and I truly believe that we need to be thinking about our readers and how they're going to respond to every scene that we write. It really helps us stay focused on the story and stay focused on making our mystery a puzzle for the readers, because they fill in this information for themselves, and sometimes it's wrong and they don't discover that till much later on in the story. Okay, I hope that helps. Thank you very much for being here. As always, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'm happy to answer questions. And I will see you next week on the Mystery Writer Studio.